So hey friends, I've been tagged in this little 10 question tag by Jason and Candace from Camping with the Kellys. They got tagged by somebody who got tagged by the Phoenix Ramblers. So this tag is going on, and I guess at the end I have to tag a couple people myself. So yep, I'm supposed to just answer these 10 questions.
Start with number 1. Do I prefer to travel alone or in a group?
Well, honestly, I prefer to travel alone, and I don't mind at all meeting up with a group. But the reason I don't really like to travel with like a group, a convoy of vehicles, is because especially when you're trying to find free camping, you might have to drive around for a while to find the spot that you want. And when you have a whole convoy, it gets a lot more difficult.
Okay, we'll move to number 2. Most difficult trip or hike I've ever been on.
When I was about 15 or 16 years old, I did a 60-mile backpacking trip through what they call the White Mountains in New Mexico. Not to be confused with the ones up north. But, yep, it was about a 60-mile hike, and it was just 4 teenagers out on our own. That was probably the most difficult hike I've ever done. It was a lot of fun, though, and I learned a lot.
So, number 3, what kind of activities do I do in the winter?
Well, I like to snow ski, although I don't get to do it very often, but my number one thing I like to do in the winter in North Texas is go camping. Camping season is winter, in my opinion. I don't mind throwing on some sweats and a hoodie. I kind of like it, actually. Now, I would feel a lot different if I lived up north or somewhere where it snows a lot, I'm sure.
Number 4, where was the most beautiful place I ever slept?
Well, that's a tough one. I have slept in some really awesome places. But I'd have to say on the side of the mountain in New Mexico or that time on the side of a mountain in Colorado. Either one of those, it was awesome. It really is impossible to say where the most beautiful place I've ever stayed. I mean, I've stayed so many very beautiful places. But my heart's always going to be in the New Mexico mountains, in the Lincoln National Forest. That's got to be the best place on earth.
Okay, number 5, have I ever been injured in the outdoors?
Well, I've never gone to the hospital because of it, not exactly. But, yeah, I have been injured. I fell down a meteor crater once with my backpack on, and I did the whole head over foot thing all the way to the bottom. That was ugly. But I still had to get up and continue hiking, so I wasn't hurt that bad. Other than that, yep, I went on a 10-day horsebacking trip once, and that horse broke my toes and head-butted me into a fence and broke 3 of my ribs, so that's probably the worst of it.
Do I practice any special survival skills?
Well, yes and no. I guess back to that same Girl Scout camp. Guys, I was a Girl Scout for 11 years, so that's where I learned all of that kind of stuff, and now it's just kind of second nature to me. So yes, I do practice survival skills whenever I need to. I am no survivalist by any means, but I do know a thing or two.
Number 7, favorite recipe for cooking outdoors?
Well, that's a really tough one because I hang out with some great cooks. But I would have to say frugal brisket or Papa Texas breakfast. Either one of those is awesome. But really, anything you eat outside is just fabulous somehow.
Papa's kitchen.
Okay, number 8, how do I motivate myself in bad or harsh weather?
Well, I have an umbrella, I have a ski coat, I have a hat. But yeah, when it's just really icky weather and just wet and nasty, I mean, I'm a professional napper too, so I don't really mind hanging out in the van for a little while. Of course, like y'all know though, I'm not a full-timer, so if something like that's going on, it's just a break. So it's not like I have to do it for weeks on end.
Number 9, where would my dream trip be?
Boy, I have thought about that so many times. I would love to drive from Texas up through Utah and going up and hit like Oregon and Washington State, drive through Canada, check out Alaska for a little while, maybe take the ferry back over and drive along the northern border of the United States and just kind of check out all the northern states. Go all the way up to Maine, check out Vermont, then come down the East Coast and just, I would love to do that. Go down and see the coast of, yeah, like South Carolina. That would be awesome. So yeah, that would be my dream trip. I'd have to have a lot of time off though, or be a full-timer for sure, and independently wealthy to pull that off, I'm afraid.
Number 10, what is the heaviest thing I ever carried on a hike?
Well, one time, I don't know, Vicki and I thought it would be a great idea to put our backpacks on and try to carry a cooler of iced adult beverages down a hiking trail, and it didn't work out very well. It was a cooler on wheels, so we're trying that, but it keeps tipping over, and it was just a disaster. So what we ended up doing is putting a bunch of ice in baggies and putting them in our backpack and carrying them that way. So we got the job done. That's the most important thing. But yeah, I'd say beer is the heaviest thing I've ever had to pack out in my backpack. So those are the 10 questions. I will put them down below. And now I have to tag a couple of people to answer these questions. So I'm trying to think who I want to hear. Gosh, this is a tough one. So I had to ponder the whole who do I want to tag on this. So I had to come and confer with Rue, and he agrees. We want to hear from C-Dub's Journey and Pine Tree Line Outdoors. I bet he's got some great stories, and I can't wait to hear what the heaviest thing he's ever carried is. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys, for watching. I really appreciate it. I appreciate those thumbs up in the comments below, and so does Rue. So, y'all stay lost, my friends.
We're listening to the sounds of the rare donkey bird.
Alright, I had to ponder the whole who am I going to tag on this thing and come and discuss it with Rue. And Rue says, no.